What's up, you guys? Welcome to another episode. Here is We Brew, You Po Crew. Today, with me, as usual, I have my amazing co host with me. Yo.
Oh, hi people. It's Panashe here, back with another episode. And just excited to be here to have another conversation with you.
Oh, yeah, this is so great. So, apparently, we came today with a very interesting topic. A topic that is happening in people's lives on a day-to-day living, but it's something that we all know as a thing that we don't get to accept or something like that. So we're talking about it's okay not to be okay. When you hear those words, Panashe,
It's
what gets
okay.
into your mind?
Well, the first thing I think about is Chandler Mo's song called It's Okay Not to Be Okay. It's a good song, you guys should listen to it. And then I think about all the times when I haven't been okay and I sort of pretended to be okay, which happens a lot because I don't like talking about my feelings because number one, I don't want to burden people with my feelings, and number two, I feel like people always want me to be this hype happy person. So I'm like, nah, don't worry, I'll keep your life positive by being not fake, but by just not fully expressing how I'm feeling at that moment. So yeah, that's what I think about.
All I heard there was, I gotta do this for someone, I gotta do this for people, and I gotta do this for people. So I think
Yes.
this topic is pretty much about being personal. On a personal person, as a human being, when things are not really going your way, should I stop for a moment and accept that, yes, I am not okay? Or I should just keep striving. I know in our growing we always told that keep trying, never give up. But is accepting that things are not okay right now giving up?
To be honest, on a personal level, I feel like I don't even allow myself to feel stuff. Like the way I react to bad news is just really weird, or the way I react to news is just very slow. So even if I'm like going through something and then I find out something that's devastating, my first reaction is, do I have time to deal with this? I know it sounds really weird, but I compact. How do you say that word? Putting things into compact like different boxes. So I'm like, okay, this is something I'm not gonna deal with until I'm at this certain level. So I just sort of like keep moving. I don't stop for a moment until I finally crash. That's when I'm like, oh no, everything is wrong and I'm sad. But for the most part, I just keep moving, and it's not healthy, to be honest, because there are things that happened to me, like traumatizing stuff, that I didn't start processing until maybe last year when the world slowed down and I really had nothing else to do. Then I was like, wait a second, that shouldn't have it happen like that. So how do you deal with stuff? What do you do?
Me, I have a weird way of really digesting stuff. I have a now thing that I do. When things are not going my way, I pretty much stop. I don't stop living, of course, yes, but I really truly reflect on whatever that's happening to me. So if things are not turning up to be okay, I stop for a moment. I look at it. Oh, look, things are not okay here. Things are not okay at work here. Things are so not okay. So sit down with yourself, think, Terrence, think, Terry, what you gonna do? So when I'm alone, I'm pretty much strategizing on how to approach things in a total different way than what I was doing. Why? Because I know the importance of acceptance when it comes to things are not okay. I know people have got a different view on this one, and our listeners totally have got a different view on this. But most people, because all we grew up being told is, oh, you can't stop, don't give up. If life gives you lemon, make lemonade. You get it? It's a thing that's been there. It's a thing that was created. But does it really apply in today's lives? Should I just chill and be like, you know what, Terrence? My job is totally not working. I'm a chill the moment. What is my exit plan? What is my plan? What do I want to do? So, by accepting that things are not okay, I am therefore also creating room for me to start to think on making things better. I'm not just getting stuck on the oh it's not okay. Then I start the pity party for me. I'm all low, down and out. No, things are not okay. But what am I gonna do with it? Am I just gonna sit and do nothing? No, I'm now gonna make my plan. I'm not gonna make a way on where I should go forward.
I agree. To be honest, that's something that I really admire about you, your ability to just process things fast. Like between you and me, I'm very slow. Reaction time, processing time takes time, but you bounce back faster because you process it faster, and I feel like that's something that we need to get to, because if it's not okay, what's the point of pretending like it's okay for a long time when you know that it's just not working out? Like, I don't know. Like, for example, if your job is not working out and then you just go like, nah, just keep pushing. It's going to happen. You would turn the lemonade, you turn the lemons into lemonade kind of thing. And you just know that it's not going to work. It just means you're delaying your reaction time to actually making things better and actually working things out. So I agree. That's a different perspective.
Yeah, I there's this thing that you mentioned about how work when things are not really working out at work, because in the back of our heads we taught to understand and to live into obtaining a certain goal. So all we do is we close that door, that feeling that I'm not okay, and try to focus much on what I wanna do. So the end result is what matter, but the process of me getting there, there's nobody who ever gets to tell you. So just like, oh, you know what? When you go to college, I want you to graduate, right, with the distinctions. Nobody's gonna tell you the process that, oh man, it's gonna be hard, you're gonna have sleepless nights, you gotta be wise in choosing study partners and whatnot. They're just gonna not tell you that, but you just have to figure it out for yourself. Okay, I have a question. Is it not being okay actually pretending? If you feel like, oh yeah, I can do it type of thing, is it not pretending, or is it not shutting off or shutting down a certain feeling?
I think it has stages. I would say it's hyping yourself up to keep going, and then at some point you also have to recognize that you're over pushing yourself, if that makes sense. Like, there's nothing wrong with pushing through, being a macho man, but there should also be a limit, and there should also be a circle of people who you're open enough with to be like, yo, things aren't working. Like there should be that place where you can be vulnerable and honest with yourself and with someone that you're close with, to be like, nah, I know that this is the end goal that's supposed to be there, but it's not getting there. So I think not being okay to the general public, you can look like you're pushing through, but then there should also be that circle of yours where you can be like, yeah, it's not as easy as it looks. Like, for example, when I was in university, it was hard. Like, some tests, I would just cry. And then people would be like, oh, I'm sure you did so good on that test. I'm like, no, I didn't. So it's like, are you going to pretend even with like the people who you're close with to be like, oh no, I'm not worried. I know it'll work out. I know I'll pass with flying colors, like just hyping yourself up? Or are you actually going to say it as it is and be open enough to acknowledge that it's hard? But even if it's hard, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to get over it. So it's just taking that time to feel your feelings, which is important. Be honest, and then, as they say, we move. So after the crying, after the not okay moments, just figuring out what the next step is.
What we are basically saying is, I won't pretend. I will say what I'm feeling,
Yes.
right? I am, when you're overwhelmed, like you said, at least have somebody to talk to. When I'm overwhelmed, I gotta be open enough to say, you know what, this is pretty much overwhelming, and emotions are raging. Uh, when those things are said out, they eventually then create space within someone's. I don't know if it's the heart or the mind. I don't know which is which, but within you,
The heart, I think.
it creates a certain space that now you can move on. You get what I'm saying? You can. It's like coming from a relationship, and then you were hurt and whatnot, and then you're trying to get into the next relationship without accepting that you're hurt. All you don't want to do is not to be alone. I know that's a topic for another day, but that process where you don't say it out, where you don't say out your feelings that you're feeling, then trying to jump into another feeling. Yes, of course, you can jump into a moving train, and yes, the train will move forward, but then the truth of the matter is you be eating yourself inside so much that it's better to just stop for a moment and say it's not okay. And actually, if we want to understand that, it's
Be in
actually,
touch with your feelings.
yeah, and it actually has to be normal to understand that it's not okay to feel that I'm not okay. It's pretty much something that is normal. It's something that happens to almost everybody. You get to moments where you feel like, oh, I'm not okay here, or my inner man is not settled because I probably did something wrong to someone, or I did something, but I'm not okay. You need to get to a point of acceptance of that you're not okay. Yeah.
Yeah, this is going to sound weird. I'm not in any way attacking African culture, but I feel like we don't talk or we don't know how to handle feelings. So, for example, if someone comes up to me and is like, I'm not feeling okay, like first of all, you want to solve it. This is not even African, but in general, people, firstly, you want to solve something instead of just listening, to be like, to be a listening ear, like, oh, what's wrong? Understand the person. You don't even have to offer advice, but I feel like it's just the listening to another person share their feelings without trying to resolve it, without trying to be like, oh, so what do you expect from me? But just being a listening ear. But I was also going to say that growing up, for example, when we used to get beaten, we weren't allowed to cry, guys. Like, what does that mean? Like, they'll beat us up and they'll be like, why are you crying? What's wrong? I didn't even do anything to you. But, like, the whole point of you beating me up is so that I can feel the pain, so that I can tie it to whatever I did wrong and be like, oh, this is why I'm getting beat up. So from like a young age, like you're told to shut in your feelings. Like if kids are having a bad day, it's like, oh, they're being moody, especially the whole being moody thing. Brutal. So they're like, oh, being moody, being dramatic. But I feel like sometimes that's just a way of people expressing their feelings. But then because we are never taught how to express our feelings in a normal way, it ends up looking like we're being dramatic, or we're never taught how to accept other people's feelings. So that's the crazy part where it all ties in for me. And especially for me, I'm like the oldest daughter or the oldest child. So I always felt like, oh, I have to set a good example for my little sisters, or I have to portray this image and just be calm, don't show feelings, because if you show feelings it can be like, oh, you're showing me attitude, so I'm gonna beat you up. And I feel like that's sort of where it starts, if you really think about it, where you're just not allowed to show or tell someone that, oh, this is what I'm feeling, this is what's going on. It's always gotta be like, shut it in. Or they'll be like, boys don't cry, which is likely something I never heard. But I've been trying to kill that whole boys don't cry thing for like the longest time now, because Crying is okay and it feels good.
Oh, it feels good to cry.
Yeah.
When you're speaking, I had an encounter this past week where I sent a message to one of the a few friends out here. And then I was checking on them, and I sent a message checking up on them. So and then they responded to me. To be honest, they responded to me kind of venting out something, and the honest truth is I did not know what to respond. I was blank, like literally blanked out, like legit. I just poof, everything went. I didn't even know what to say. Should I then respond and say, "Oh, everything is gonna be okay," or I should just respond and say, "You know, be strong." I didn't know because already in me, that's when I realized that I never grew experiencing somebody probably just be like, "Oh yeah, you can talk. I can chill and listen." You know, in my culture, it's kind of rare where you get somebody who just comes and be like, something is happening to you. Oh, I'm here. Give me a call when you feel like things are not going your way, and then just calling them. And if you know, the
Yeah.
funny part of doing that is, in most cases, if you have done it or haven't done it, let us know if you have done it also, and if it had worked for you. When you call someone and something is happening to you, or you're grieving, or something is really painful, and then you vent out to someone, you're not really venting by shouting, I mean, by saying it out, telling someone what you're feeling. At the end of the call, you would feel like, oh, I kind of feel better. So I kind of feel better. Yeah, it's still there. Of course, it left a mark, it left a scar, but yeah, I feel better. So pretty much, it is okay to not be okay.
Like communication is just, you could just be like, I'm sorry you're going through that. Like in Zimbabwe, people love to say pakaipa. Can you translate that, Terence?
I think it says it's hard. I don't know that.
It's hard. Like that's what people would just respond, because I feel like we don't have the emotional, we don't have the depth to deal with like what other people are going through, and that's just something that we have to work on as we grow up, because it can't be an excuse anymore. And venting out feels great, that's for sure. There's always like, it does something when you're able to share what you're going through with someone else. And even if they don't agree with you and see eye to eye with what you just said, that simple acknowledgement that there's someone else who hears me and someone else who cares, that's it does a lot, you know. It goes 1,000 miles. And even silence is an answer sometimes. You could just be like, I'm sorry, and then you just comfort that person and just be there. Your presence, it could go a long way.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I think pretty much that's why the applications of people are just out there to listen to people's problems, to listen to people's troubles and things that are happening in their lives. But then this also has to happen, like in real life. To any listener who is out there, it is okay not to pretend. It is okay to say out how you're feeling. It is okay to be overwhelmed. It is okay to have emotions that are raging. It is okay to feel heavy. It is okay to feel like you are not okay. Right?
In conclusion, it's okay to not be okay. Love leaves room for you to say that I'm not okay. If someone truly loves you and is there for you as your family and as your friend and in any other capacity, they should be able to just be there for you in your lowest times, even if they are not fixing anything, but just listening to you and being like, I understand, I see you, you're not alone, we're in this together, and it's okay. We'll get through this, you know. To be honest, the bad times, they don't stay forever, but joy comes in the morning.
To every fear, to every lie, to every pain, to every agony, just know that love leaves room for me to cry. And there is also, also somebody out there ready to listen to you.
Yes. And if you can't find someone
Ooh.
else, I'm there, you know. And to be honest, I've been wanting to try therapy. This is a conversation for another time. But I know therapy is not cheap, but it's getting better. So, in case you ever want to try therapy, there's always another person to listen to. Because sometimes some people don't like opening up to people who they know because they
Yeah.
feel like they're going to be judged and that person knows too much about them. But, find that one person who's going to listen to you. It doesn't have to be about everything. You can split it between different people, but find your person. So, thank you guys. This was a fun episode. As we grow up, even as you're young, like just acknowledging all the different emotions that are there for humans to experience, and we need to do better, guys. Be there for someone, check up on someone, show love to someone, even if it's just a simple text, a simple call, a simple lunch, whatever it might be. Just we're all in this together. Let's do life together and show each other love. So thank you so much for joining us, and we'll be back next week with another episode. We love you.
We love you. From We Brew, you Pro team, it's bye for now.